In 1975, having successfully challenged Bill Snedden for the leadership of the Liberal Party, he mounted an attack on the Whitlam government, which he believed was reckless and in breach of its responsibilities to the Australian people. The Liberals controlled the numbers in the Senate and were in a position to block money supply bills.
The Whitlam government, in many ways, had some grand ideas, but in terms of capacity to put those ideas into practice in a practical way, was very, very severely limited. But in 1974, the expenditure of the Commonwealth rose by over 40% from the year before. Now, with today's attitude to economics, if any government tried to do that, I think on that issue alone, the economic writers, the editorials, and a lot of other people would be saying, look, this government has either got to totally change its spots or it's got to go.
In late 1974, the Whitlam government embarked on a plan to borrow large amounts of money from overseas to finance its model of big government. The scandal that followed became known as the Loans Affair.
There was certainly an intent to raise what were then seen to be very large sums, $4 billion, from very shady, disreputable sources, going way outside the normal means of raising money. And Rex Connor, Minister for Minerals and Energy, was the principal one, I suppose, who wanted to get his hands on the money through a shady Middle East person called Khemlani. Khemlani did exist, but the money never arose. And this event, I think, really began the disintegration and the destruction of the Whitlam government. In September or October 1975, the opposition really came to the conclusion that if there were no more scandals, no more misdeeds, no more lies told to the Parliament, that we would allow the budget to pass. But then when Rex Connor told the Prime Minister that he'd stopped looking for the money through Khemlani in May, he was apparently up at night in his office waiting for messages from Khemlani. The Prime Minister had been deceived, the Parliament had been deceived, and Australia had been. Once Rex Connor was forced to resign for having misled his Prime Minister and everyone else, we decided, look, this is the last straw. We believed that we, as an opposition, would be held in contempt if we didn't do everything we could to give Australians the opportunity to vote to who they wanted to govern the country.